What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Do It With Dan, and we're just hanging out in my garage, and I've got kind of just a low energy video for you today, but I figured it was important, at least to me. But a lot of people, as you know, if you've been following me for a little while at least, about a year ago, just over a year ago actually, I think, last year I was diagnosed with MS, multiple sclerosis. I figured it would be a good time to kind of give you guys an update on how that's been for me, how my disease has progressed, how I'm handling it, medications, things that I'm doing to help, things that have made it worse. Mostly because I get a lot of, how are you doing? Are you feeling okay comments? And it's hard to answer those individually because it changes on the daily. And I'll go into that. I'll go into how it's been. First and foremost, I would say that given the circumstances, I'm doing pretty good. Physically, I feel like I'm doing pretty all right. You know, I've been working out more, I've been eating better, I've been trying to get more sleep, which is a big one. Listening to my body when it tells me that it's tired, when it's done, and figuring out where my limits are. That's the big one, is figuring out how I can operate differently, knowing what I know now. And overall, it's been okay. It's, all things considered, it's been all right. Best way I can describe it to people, with it being a neurological disorder, especially to my car and motorcycle guys, the way I describe it is that it's like every morning I kind of wake up with my check engine light on, if that makes sense. How am I gonna handle today differently than yesterday? When do I need to stop? When do I need to calm down? When do I need to rest? When can I go all out, you know? And it's hard to pick and choose some days. The hard part is figuring out where is too much for me. And a lot of it has to do with overexertion or heat. Heat is a big one for me. Too much heat, I'm done for at least a couple of days. And that's been hard to manage, especially living here in Georgia, where, I mean, it's gorgeous right now. We're in April. It's the beginning and maybe the end of spring, who knows, you know? Leading into summer, no doubt, there is going to be some hot days. Little spider. But that's just, I think that's with everybody, right? Figuring out where your limits are and what you can and can't do. It's funny because it's like hard to pinpoint one specific symptom. Obviously neuropathy, it comes and goes. Some days my hands will be really numb, some days they won't be. Some days it's really hard to get out of bed, being like the hardest thing of the day is just finding the energy and the motivation to pick myself up and go do the things that I need to do. Which, you know, like some days I'm exhausted. Some days my energy levels are like what I would consider in the negatives. Like I don't have any energy to spare. And then some days I'm fine. I would say 2/3, maybe even 3/4 of my days are okay. But maybe 1 day a week, 2 days a week, maybe no days a week, I'll be shot. There's like nothing I can do to get myself the energy that I need to do the things that I need to do. In those days, I have to basically just do nothing, which, as you guys know, as a content creator, fucking sucks, right? YouTube never stops. I'm never not trying to do stuff to make content, reach out to companies or brands, or do things that I know how to make videos. It's really weird. It's like a constant hamster wheel that you have to continue to keep momentum. And if you lose that momentum, it's like fucking building back up is twice as hard, right? So it's just very interesting trying to figure out what I can and can't do and when I can and can't do it. And just having to pace myself a little bit differently. And that's a big one. I want to say thank you guys for your patience. You know, like a big one for me lately has been the Camaro build, which, as you guys know, is like I am working on it. Like, I know I haven't posted a video in a month, and I every now and again I'll get a comment that's kind of shitty, and it's like, you're not working on the Camaro, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. And it's like, I am. I promise you I am. I'm just doing it when I can. Especially, like I said, with heat being a factor. You know, I'll go work in the shop for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, 9 hours, and get heated. I do my best to stay cool, but, you know, getting overheated, getting overworked. And then if I do it too heavy, I physically can't do anything the next day. It's like I'm incapacitated, which sucks. And it's not as simple as like just getting over it and going out and do it. Like it's hard to explain with the physical exhaustion, you know? For me, that's been the biggest barrier, is making consistent content and trying to keep the majority of people stoked and like trying to keep up with YouTube, because like let's say that I don't upload for 3 or 4 days in a row, the next video is just not gonna go out to people. It's really frustrating. trying to keep up that rat race with YouTube. But overall, I would say considering that I've been doing the right things, eating healthier, working out more, branching out more outside of my comfort zone so I can do things and try things and push the boundaries and see what I am and am not capable of doing. For instance, I just completed both a 3-day school at AMP for their Primal Race School and a 2-day advanced course at Primal Racing at AMP as well. And those are very physically demanding. You're in a full tilt race car pulling almost 2 Gs in turns all day. Basically, I did it for 2 weeks in a row now with David. And finding out where those limits were was insane. Just going as hard and as fast as you can. And not only pushing a car to your limits, but like pushing your body and your mind to its limits. And you know, being in the sun all day, being overheated, being physically exhausted, it was very interesting to see where my body will give out. And thankfully I made it to the final day, and that'll be on video, by the way. I got more videos of that coming, so if you enjoyed that content, it's coming. Giggity. It was so physically demanding. Somebody a while ago told me that it was going to be too much for me because it was too much for them and they couldn't handle it. They couldn't hack it. And being able to do that with a disability and being able to come out on the other side and not only having done it, but done a pretty fucking good job at it. Not only was it a huge win for me, but it was like a very good, like, I can do this. You know, I'm physically capable of doing this. I don't have to give this up because of my disability. And I use the term disability relatively lightly because I hate using it as a crutch, you know, because most days I'm fine. I would say like most days I'm solid and I'm good. But there is a point where my body gives out. And my mind goes with it because MS also affects your brain. Like your body will attack its brain. You lose vision. If I get overheated, that's the big one, right? It fucks me up. And I'm sure they do for regular good working people. Like I'm sure that your body does eventually too. It's very aggressive sometimes where like all of a sudden, boom, a lot of signs and symptoms that I have to learn how to recognize and adapt. If I can recognize a symptom is coming on, then I know, hey, you're pushing it, you need to calm the fuck down, otherwise you're gonna be in real trouble. Pain, I would say, not that bad. Like currently, I get like chronic shoulder pain, but it's not bad. Yeah, like idle at like a 1, you know, most days. Sometimes it gets to like a 3, but that's really about it. The neuropathy can get fucking annoying, you know, moving in a weird way, or like sleeping wrong, or like getting too hot, or using my hands too much, like fucking numb my hands. I hate that. That is the absolute most frustrating part of it, is like the numbness. But if I calm down, I get some water in me, I cool down a little bit, it'll usually go away within, you know, an hour, and then I can resume what I'm doing. But I've had to change my life a good bit. And thankfully the people around me have been very supportive and very helpful. You know, everybody that's in my life right now is top tier people. It's been good. It's about as good as it could be, right? Like that's all you can ask for, you know? For instance, when I was doing the racing school, I was just kind of explaining, I was like, hey, listen, you know, like there's gonna be times where I have to sit stuff out if I get too overexerted and stuff like that. And they were all like super apologetic, like, oh man, that sucks, I'm sorry you have to deal with that. And it's like, well, like everyone's got their own set of problems in life, their own set of physical limitations and disabilities, no matter what, like whether it be a sports injury, or you're not super tall, or maybe you're too tall, you physically can't lift as much, you know? I mean, like we all have our boundaries, we all have our set limits, and it's not as big as a deal for me as it could be. I think I've gotten lucky with the course of my disease, at least so far, because I'm still physically able to walk and run and jump and talk and go racing and play games and hang out, and it's hard for me to be bummed out about it, is what I'm saying, is because like I've been relatively fortunate, I would say. It's really strange because I think a lot of my fan base views it as like a big bummer, which sure, fucking whatever, it sucks. But I'm okay. Like, at least right now I'm okay. You know, it could get worse. It probably will. I'm probably gonna have some really shitty days in the future, but that doesn't mean I can't have really good days too. You know what I'm saying? But I'll tell you about what I've been doing to improve my condition, I guess. Like I said, staying hydrated. I try to drink as much water as possible. I've been trying to work out more often. I've certainly missed some days. I've been kind of a fat piece of shit sometimes. Cleaning up my diet, eliminating things that cause inflammation, because MS is a big, heavy inflammation related disease, right? So staying away from sugar as much as possible. It's really hard for me because I'm a sweet tooth guy. I like ice cream. I really like ice cream, man. That's my fucking kryptonite. Going on walks with the dogs, taking the dogs on walks more. I do a lot of stretching. I've been using a Theragun a lot. That helps with muscle, because like MS, you know, muscles get tight and they get stiff and they don't want to move. And that helps a lot. The medicine I'm taking is called Gilenya fingolimod. It is a immune suppressant. I've talked about this previously. They call it a DMT, a disease-modifying therapy. My personal review of it, it's hard to say. Like, I've got no experience with any other medication. I haven't had a serious attack in over a year now, so that's good. At least that I'm aware of. I feel like I would know. You know, I haven't lost the ability to walk anytime recently or move my arms again, so that's nice. It's expensive. I think roughly around $70,000 per year, but I've been a part of a program that gives it to me for free. I will link that in the description as well if there's anybody watching this that's looking at other alternatives, but it is a free medicine. I receive it every month, which is very nice. I'm also taking vitamin D, which is linked to MS, a vitamin D deficiency. I'm also taking lion's mane mushroom, and there's not really many studies to say that it helps humans yet because it's not heavily researched, but in animals, it is proven to not only improve cognitive function, but help rebuild the myelin sheathing around your nerves, which is what the MS attacks. It causes the neuropathy, it causes the damage. So that's a big one. I've been taking that now for like a month or so. I've missed a couple of days here and there. So I don't really have a good long-term experience with it, but I've heard a lot of people say that it does help. So I've been taking that and just trying not to think about it. That's the big one. Because if I spend a lot of time thinking about how I feel, I don't want to do. So if I don't think about how I feel, I go do things. I do the things, and that helps a lot. Especially with fighting the just natural depression that comes with it. It's a big part because not only is it physically draining of your body, it's like last year, like around the time that I was diagnosed, I was very depressed, having a hard time getting up and doing things and finding the energy to do things, and I wasn't sure if I was dying or not. It's how I felt. I felt like I was dying. I would say and if we're gonna talk about mentally, I think the biggest downside to the MS has been my memory. My memory is certainly not as good as it was. And that's one of the things that I'd really like to work on. My memory and anxiety, that's the biggest things that I fight with, I would say, daily, that I could link to MS. But overall, I would say nothing detrimental. It's as good of a year as it could be with someone who has MS. I promise you that. I haven't had to go to a doctor or anything like that. And for the most part, I feel good. Most days I feel really good. Now today, like I said, I'm fucking exhausted because I just did the school. And I appreciate your patience on everything because I'm gonna need a couple more days to recover after that. But yeah, that's basically how things have been for the past year, is just trying to change the way I do things, trying to feel better every day, trying to just improve myself, but also take time to rest and relax, because that is very hard for me to do. Like I said, with YouTube being the constant hamster wheel shit show that it is, and having to stay consistent as much as you can, that has been very hard, I will say, because I know people want to see content. I know people want to see me do stuff and do all the things that I promise that I'm doing and work on stuff. And I just appreciate your patience. I promise you I'm trying as hard as I can. I'm working my ass off. And for those who understand and check in on me and watch every upload when I upload them, I fucking appreciate it. I really do. The initial fear has worn off of being diagnosed with MS, and the acceptance is here, which is hard, right? Accepting that you're like not healthy or you know what I'm saying? Like just being like, oh fuck, I'm fucked up. I gotta be better, you know? But with all that being said, I'm gonna let you get back to your wonderful weekend. It's gorgeous outside. I'd love to tell you that I'm gonna go outside and do stuff, but I'm pretty much outside tuckered out. So I think I'm gonna stay inside and smoke pot and play video games today. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Thank you for sticking with me during everything. And and you guys noticed that I still have the Corvette. I haven't sold it yet, and I'll update you guys on that soon. I got a pretty important video about it. I just figured it would be a good backdrop, but still got her. I guess I will see you in the next video if you click on it. Fuck.
I want to thank a longtime partner of the channel for sponsoring today's video, which is Ridge Wallet. You guys know how much I dig my Ridge Wallet. I've had a ton of different ones, and I always switch them around to match the vehicles that I'm driving. Lately, I've been on a red kick, so I'm rocking the product red, and I've turned all my family and friends onto Ridge Wallet. Even my dad, who's carried around one of those like crappy tri-fold bill wallets for his like entire life. And you know how hard it is to change boomers' minds on literally anything. Ridge Wallet holds up to 12 cards, and it has room for cash, either via the cash strap or the money clip. They have over 30 colors and styles, like carbon fiber or Damascus, and they're incredibly well made and come with a lifetime warranty. Not to mention that they're all made with RFID blocking technology to protect yourself from thieves and skimmers. They are so confident that you'll love their products, they'll let you test drive it for 99 days. And if you're not 100% satisfied, give you a full refund. But don't take my word for it, see for yourself why they have over 50,000 5-star reviews. Use my link in the description, ridgewallet.com/doitwithdan, and use my coupon code DOITWITHDAN at checkout. Don't use anybody else's code, use my code, and you'll get 10% off. Again, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate the love and support, as well as thank you so much for Ridge Wallet for sponsoring today's video. They've been incredibly long-time partners of the channel, and they really help me continue to do the things that I love to do while also providing you guys with free content. So it's a really good partnership. I appreciate you guys.